Salve citizens! Today we're diving into the thrilling tomfoolery of schizo-Roman emperors, where eccentric takes on a whole new meaning, arranged in the superior format of a tier list. So grab your laurel wreaths and let's get started. Starting off in D tier is Maximinus Thrax, a man whose diplomacy involved flexing his muscles and instilling fear wherever he went. Standing over 8 feet tall and reputed to be able to snap a man's neck with a single hand, he made sure his enemies knew who was boss. Because nothing says diplomacy like brute strength and intimidation tactics. Also a bonus, as soon as he was made emperor in 235, he immediately began persecuting Christians. You know, this band of fishermen which was founded 235 years earlier. Fortunately, he was killed by his own legions after a series of rebellions. I'll take. Moving up to C tier, we have Tiberius, the emperor who turned the island of Capri into a den of debauchery. His hobbies included indulging in disturbing pleasures and purging anyone who looked at him funny, because even carrying a coin with the emperor's picture to the toilet was reason enough for you to be executed back then. Good times. Because when you're the emperor, schizophrenia is just part of the job description. Sliding into B tier, we got Domitian, the emperor whose paranoia drove him to execute rivals, micromanage everything down to the last sestertius, and host public displays of cruelty that made Game of Thrones look like a puppet show for kids. He wasn't just a control freak. He was the maestro of misery. Genius ideas of him include renaming October to Domitianus and orienting his way of leading the state on Tiberius. You know, the last guy on this list. Moving on, we have Caracalla, who was emperor from 211 to 217. Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. After his ascent to the throne, which was shared with his younger brother Geta at first, he told himself, you know what? I don't want to share with you anymore. Nice. Now go and erase his very existence from this planet. So after committing fratricide, he was ruler supreme and decided to just give every free man in Rome citizenship. Because taxes rock, right? Another funny prank he did was when he was luring the entire population of Alexandria out of the city to have them massacred by his soldiers. You want to know why? Oh, they just looked at him funny. Moving on to the almost demigods. In the prestigious A tier we meet Commodus, the emperor who renamed Rome to Colony of Commodus and the months after himself. He was emperor from 180 to 192 and was, in general, comparable to Nabaron Feldrauter. Oh, look at him with his silly little toothless mouth. Anyways, where were we? Oh yes! Hercules. Hercules is who he declared himself to be, often participating in rigged arena fights and erecting statues all over Rome that displayed him in Hercules clothing. Nice. Also in A tier is Elagabalus, who introduced the sun god cult, which was named after him. He was also the first Roman emperor femboy in history, often dressing in women's clothes and prostituting himself all over the palace. He was, on many accounts, also heard demanding himself to be called empress. I mean, he'd be a definite smash, just look at these childbearing hips. God, why did I say this? Kill me. And finally, topping our tier list in S for schizo is Caligula. This guy, man, I love him. Not only is his name literally shoe, but he also was a pretty free thinker. Free as in, free to do whatever the fuck he wants. One time he declared war on the fucking sea, tasked his soldiers to collect the seashells as spoils of war. The other time he demanded to be declared god and worshipped as such. One of his passions though was watching the games in the Circus Maximus. But one time, when there weren't enough criminals to fight the lions in the arena, he just threw an entire section of the audience into there. Gigachat move right there. And to that I just say, bread and circuses. But the first place, the Schizis Maximus, the creme de la cruel, is my beloved Nero, infamous for starting the Great Fire of Rome, allegedly, because he wanted a new palace made entirely of gold, persecuting Christians like no tomorrow, and killing his own mother and wife, who put him on the throne in the first place. He really is, without a doubt, the biggest twat emperor in the history of Rome, and for that I love him. Voila, as the Italians say. Those have been the greatest emperor crimes ranked. From divine delusions to debauchery galore, these guys really knew how to crash a state harder than Malaysian Airlines 370. Whether you're in the mood for excess or just plain insanity, Rome's numbnuts got you covered. Until next time, stay divine, stay apostiated, and remember, just because Rome wasn't built in a day doesn't mean it can't be burnt down in just 14 hours.